home of the Wolfpack.
Part of that is you have to adjust to your personnel because you don't really know who your personnel is. At mid-range, it breaks down your defensive principles, which are run people off the three-point line.
More minutes per game than anybody in the league for a wing team coming off its second quad one win of the year. A very impressive 11-point win at SMU Saturday. They have been off since then. NC State, meanwhile, needs at least 2 wins just to make it to the ACC tournament. Demon Deacons start with the ball, and they start with an offensive foul called by Ted Valentine against Efton Reed, and you're laughing 16 seconds in.
I'm laughing because they're both just going like body to body. I mean, how is that on either one of them? It's just funny to start. That's how you start a game. And if you're Efton Reed and you're Wake Forest, you say, come on, man, not an early foul.
NC State starters, an open 3 missed by Dontrez Styles, and the putback is there for Paul McNeil Jr. on the first play of his first career start. What a shot out of a cannon for the freshman. Here's the Wake starting 5. Spillers, the big with Reed, leaves it short. Johnson, Cam Hildreth back in there after missing Saturday with a foot contusion. He scored 20 in his last 4, and Salas. Jaden Taylor, Ben Middlebrooks, Michael O'Connell, 3 returners from the Final Four miracle run a season ago. With Styles and the aforementioned McNeil, who had 14 points in 14 minutes against UNC, and he is red hot. Are you kidding me? First career start. He's averaging 2.9 a game, and he has 5 and 2 possessions.
That's actually great, and you got to feel good for a kid getting the first career start, as you mentioned, but getting out there and playing with great energy. I mean, that's ultimately what you're looking for if you're Kevin Keats, someone who can start hot and then keep the energy high throughout.
Marcus Hill, their leading scorers on the bench for only the second time to start. Reed with a break, rebound to Styles. NC State 3 and 12 in the league. They started 2 and 2. They've gone 1 and 10 in the last 11. O'Connell wraps it into Middlebrooks. He was open. O'Connell for 3. That's too strong. And McNeil with the offensive rebound. O'Connell hits this time. Timeout, Wake Forest. I guess they didn't have Paul McNeil at the top of the scouting report.
I'm not really sure he was on the scouting report much at all. You mentioned 2+ points a game, but it's energy that you need. The kid came out hot, came out on fire, and it's not just making shots, it's getting offensive rebounds, second chance opportunities. Get it while you're hot. Good start, NC State.
We got part of the student section behind us. They're literally standing and chanting Paul McNeil's name. Freshman out of Rockingham, North Carolina. First start of his career. Putback layup, 3-pointer, offensive rebound and assist. The first 3 possessions of his college career as a starter. And it's 8-0 NC State out of the Wake timeout. Hildreth bounces inside for Reed. Look who's got the steal. Of course, it's McNeil off a deflection. Middlebrooks, that pass knocked away. A rare NC State turnover for the team that turns it over the 9th least of anybody in the country, just 9.2 a game.
That's
and
going to be 2.
Offensive foul. That is 2 on Reed in 2.5 minutes. This is just a waking nightmare right now for Steve Forbes.
And I go back to that first foul. You almost forget you got it. It happened so soon. And you just go back to play and not realizing that if you do one silly thing like a moving screen, you're going to be on the bench probably for the rest of the half.
And now Omaha Ballou, who's played very sparingly due to injury this year, is in. McNeil, no way. He had to miss at some point.
Why no way?
No way, because this has been an impossible enough start. Here's Ballou. Good defense by Ben Middlebrooks. Boy, NC State has just been smothering to start this game.
I think Wake's been a little obvious about where they're going, pushing the ball inside. There's really nothing happening off the ball, and that allows the defense just to focus on the basketball.
Here's Styles for three. NC State, against the best three-point defense in the ACC, has started 3 for 6. 11-0 Wolfpack.
Wake's chasing the play a little bit, chasing the basketball, and then once you pass out of it, you get what you want.
Salas, meanwhile, he may have gotten away with a push-off there, given the offensive fouls we've seen. He does get fouled by Taylor. And here is Kevin Keatts, who is now the 3rd longest tenured ACC coach and will be 2nd shortly with the impending resignation of Leonard Hamilton at Florida State. Final Four a year ago. He really loves these players. They have not found that connectedness yet. Maybe they are finding it today. It wouldn't be the first time NC State found some late season magic.
Look, there are a lot of teams throughout the course of college basketball's history that have had a nice run. Like I was around when Northwestern made their first NCAA tournament. The following year they fell apart, right? You almost become a victim of your own success. And I hate using cliches, but sometimes they just work. I think that's one of the things you feel great about what you did and you forgot about what allowed you to get there. Connectedness is the right term. Continuity is what you want to see on the floor, but you have to have that social connectedness as a team to really maximize the potential of your group.
O'Connell starting point guard on that team. Middlebrooks is fouled on the post entry. Brian O'Connell, Jamel Spearman, along with Ted Valentine, are officials, and that's the first foul on Cameron Hildreth today. So there's Steve Forbes, who is trying to get Wake Forest to the tournament. He's been oh so close a couple of times. He's right on the edge again this year. His team's won 6 road games in the ACC. That's tied for the most road wins in the ACC in Wake Forest history. Go back to 96-97. Styles open for 3. He had another one in and out.
But those are all good looks, good misses, in rhythm shots. They're getting what they want on the offensive end, and defensively they've been great.
NC State's got Trey Parker and Marcus Hill in the game. McNeil and Taylor to the bench after the great start for the freshman McNeil. Ballou, jumper goes for the Iowa State transfer. Very skilled player, Omaha Ballou.
I thought that was good defense by Middlebrooks, staying with Salas, who wants to get to that mid-range game right in the middle of the paint. Brings defense your way, and Salas made the right play in passing it off.
O'Connell never turns it over. Does here. Knocked off of Middlebrooks by Spillers. So a little bit of energy for Wake Forest. For their second quadrant 1 victory of the year. That is one of the evaluation tools that the committee uses.
Yeah, it is so tough because a lot of your non-conference quad 1s are going to come in November. You don't even know who you are, how you want to play, and then you got to figure it out in conference play. The problem is in the ACC is not a lot of quad 1 opportunities.
Inside, Spillers couldn't finish. Rebound grabbed by Brandon Huntley Hatfield off the bench. Quad 1 for a road game. That's beating a team in the top 75 of the net. There's a turnover. Ballou, and he has it poked away from behind by Hill. Trey Parker, freshman. The transfer from Bowling Green. Hill kicks it. Styles leaves it short, and then Hill flies in for a one-handed rebound. NC State has taken 8 of its 9 shots from 3. And again, this is not what they do. They are the most sure-handed team in the ACC. This is going to drive Kevin Keatts nuts. 4 turnovers in the first 5:20.
The frustrating thing is when you go to the bench and guys come in and turn it over. You're not asking for much. You're just asking for guys to move the basketball and find the game first, right? Find the game before you start moving it too much.
There's Spillers on the feed from Hildreth. Tre'Von Spillers averaging 10 and 8 with his first 2.
You get what I mean by find the game, right?
Sure.
The game has a certain rhythm. The way you move the basketball, the defense rotates. Find the game first. That's going the other way.
That's going to be their 5th turnover, an offensive foul.
I think Wake has the ability to do this. This is just simple execution, right? Screen. I mean, nobody gets caught up. No one takes the roll away. That's just a simple roll off of a kind of a handoff situation.
O'Connell was called for the offensive foul there. Michael O'Connell, who had only 24 turnovers in the first 26 games, already has 2. Duke Harris, a freshman in the game, feeds the post and Spillers against Huntley Hatfield. Way too strong, and then Hill couldn't grab the rebound.
Really bad shots are hard to rebound, right? They don't come off normally. They come off really strong and bounce far. Air balls usually go the way of the offense gets that. Hard off the glass. Good luck corralling that thing.
Hildreth drive it at Hill. Cameron Hildreth, the senior from England, and after an 11-0 NC State start, Wake has 8 in a row.
8 in a row, but outside of the slip for an easy dunk, they've been tough. I mean, that shot from Cam Hildreth, I mean, he really had to work to get that off. It's a tough-made basket.
O'Connell drives it and just got it over the onrushing Spillers, and then Salas was fouled. So Wake Forest with a nice little burst here. The ball in an 8-0 run. Big triple header today starts at 4 Eastern with Georgia visiting #1 Auburn. Then a Sonic blockbuster in Tuscaloosa, Kentucky, and Alabama, followed by Missouri, Arkansas. 3 great SEC games, all on ESPN, all on the ESPN app.
I think Missouri might be one of my favorite teams to watch.
Me too.
Like, they're just fun. It's like they don't give a rip if it goes in or not. They're still going to commit to playing the way they want to play, and they force you into their game.
Spillers inside got blocked but fouled. And Missouri makes the tournament 2 years ago in Dennis Gates' first year. Then goes 0-18 in the league last year.
Wow.
But they are super deep. Tons of great shooters, including Caleb Grill. Tons of great ball movers. They're an exciting team, and they get a little overshadowed by the top of the SEC, but a very, very dangerous team. And if you haven't seen Missouri,
probably better that way.
Check them out tonight. Yep. Missouri, Arkansas. Razorbacks need a win. They're right on the bubble too.
Good promo support, Kev. You're going to make a newsletter or something.
There's not much you need to say to support other than it's an SEC game in 2025. But I'll do what I can.
Company
Spillers
man.
First. Try to be.
No, I think there's something to that, though, right? Teams that really establish an identity and commit to it. Missouri's done that, for better or for worse. In a way, Alabama's done that, right? You know, miss or make, they're still going to seek out 3 opportunities, play fast, just shoot with confidence and fearlessness. I love that. That's fun to watch. And I think if you're a good watch, you're the type of team that could go far. You could beat anybody.
Dennis Parker, who was barely on the floor, picked up those last 2 fouls. McNeil's back in there. Hill, left-handed player, spinning to the right, and that snaps a 10-0 Wake Forest run.
Yeah, that came off his right hand like he's a left-hander.
Wasn't hard to tell, is what you're saying. Here's Harris for 3. Made it despite an absolutely wild contest by Dontrez Styles, waving his arms in the air. And from down 11, Wake has tied it like that.
Well, they've tied it up because they've just operated a little bit better in the half court. I mean, they've adjusted to that. In November, they wanted to play faster. In December, they thought maybe we need to scale it back a little bit. By this point in the season, they figure out that they need to operate as a half-court team, just take care of the basketball.
Hill got caught in the air. Taylor off the shot fake. Inside, Huntley Hatfield. Been a tough year for the Louisville transfer. They can get him going down the stretch. It could really open up this team. 15-13, 8 minutes gone by. Wake Forest, the last team in Joe Lunardi's projected field on this February 22nd. Salas draws a contact. Fouls against Taylor. That's his second. So Wake Forest starting to draw some fouls here. They were down 11 zip. They're back within 2. Another one of these half-to-half games for Wake. NC State just trying to get back in the mix to get to Charlotte. Big one here in Raleigh.
NC State men's basketball.
Despite a slow stretch of late, Zubin, Oregon putting itself in great position. One of 10 Big Ten teams, Joe Lunardi's projected bracket. ACC's at 4 right now with Wake the last team in the field. They would certainly drop out if they lost this game. As Hunter Salas goes 1 for 2.
Can I just point out that it's just weird looking at that and not seeing a Pac-10 or Pac-12?
Yep, it's still weird.
And then you said Oregon a Big Ten. It's still weird.
It's still really strange. That tie-up, Ballou, on the shot by McNeil. I don't think it will ever stop being strange, although we'll have the Pac something back in a couple of years. I don't know what the number will be.
From the East Coast.
Well, there is a Pac returning. We don't know there's going to be East Coast teams in there, but hey, who knows? Anything's possible. Styles inside. He's got 5. NC State leading it by 3.
NC State has to continue to play not carefree, but just fearless. And just attack. Try to take care of the basketball. They do that well.
Ballou from Salas, and then Harris off the cut. Nice start for the freshman who had 17 against State the first time these teams met.
Depending what lineup you have on the floor, you may be able to extend, but if you have bad communicators on the floor defensively and you get extended, you're going to give up layups and dunks just like that.
Wake Forest hedges the ball screen, as Steve Forbes told us they love to do every time to a guard. Trying to make them uncomfortable. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Styles long 2. Just a couple of those that were halfway down. Salas yet to take a shot from the field. He's gotten to the line twice. There's his first attempt, and it's left short. NC State shooting 50% from the field. They've turned it over 5 times. Hill, another one in and out.
They get good looks, though. I say it all the time. Probable miss. Like, you can build on those. And good misses allow you to set up your defense.
Once again, Hildreth trying to take Hill. Hill going chest to chest. Hildreth leaves it short.
It's just too obvious what they're doing in certain situations. You know exactly where they're going to try to score. You kind of line up your defense to rebound.
I want to say it's tough defending by NC State, but it's a little predictable right now for Wake Forest.
That's the point. It's obvious. Like we know exactly where they're going. I think Salas needs to be more involved offensively. Can't just be feed the post and stand around.
Ballou, boy, what a lift he's given them. Omaha Ballou, 4 points. He had just 2 in the last 3 games combined, and Wake Forest has its first lead.
Just like there are clappable misses, there's fool's gold makes, and that's not going to win you a basketball game. You've got to move it, create a little rhythm on the offense.
Ballou gets called for a travel on the rebound, but a couple of early baskets for the Iowa State transfer.
It's kind of, I mean, that's all good stuff. I mean, that's where everybody gets involved. The last possession, it was just kind of standing around. If you notice, like our camera's on 2 guys, that's really the only 2 that were moving. The good ball movement is something you can build upon. You create a rhythm with your ball and body movement, right? And then you establish the way you're going to be able to operate on the offensive end.
O'Connell, no good for 3. Was tipped by Parker Fredrickson. Back to Breon Pass, deep off the bench for NC State. 5 straight misses for the Pack. Styles, their second leading scorer. Hill, their leading scorer, a rare 3. It's not close. And it's grabbed by O'Connell. Air ball goes the way of the offense once again. Michael O'Connell's got 5. Now Harris trying to back downhill, and he scores over the top.
I just don't think you're going to win the game that way.
No.
It's just, you might be able to win the possession, but I have a tough time thinking you win the game that way.
O'Connell gets a step, sets up pass for 3. No good.
I might win the game if NC State can't score. I just think Hunter Salas getting involved, getting some ball screen action, get the ball and body moving.
Salas has 1 field goal attempt, 4 free throws, and he won't get any on this possession. 6th Wake Forest turnover.
Salas does such a good job of getting defenders on his back in a ball screen, where if you hedge, so what? He's patient. He gets the other defender on his back. Once you vacate as a big, he gets himself into the paint where that mid-range game is really tough to stop.
Wake 7 for its last 11. NC State, which led 11-0, has got a little cold, but that'll help. Nice drive by Styles inside Harris. And 7 for the Georgetown transfer. Began his career at North Carolina. 21-20 NC State back in front. Wolfpack need at least 2 more wins to make the ACC tournament. Top 15 of the 18 teams will get to Charlotte. Salas hunting for a shot now, and he missed it.
It's one of the tough things. If you don't get good looks, you tend to start forcing them. You don't want to see that happen.
O'Connell, Middlebrooks, great find.
That was nice. That pass is there because O'Connell showed the ball high. You show the ball high, the defense just instinctually lifts. You're able to make that bounce pass through to Middlebrooks.
Spillers, a cutting Fredrickson.
Look at this.
Parker Fredrickson, who almost never shoots from inside the arc with a 2.
2 really good offensive possessions for both teams. Oh, Lord.
And then that. Not great when the ball ends up with your head coach. 6 turnovers apiece. NC State's got a slim lead.
Look, this is good stuff. Watch, show the ball high. Show high. There it is. Great pass, good action. And right on the backside, right? We can do the same thing. Good read, good cut, easy finish. We got a ball game.
That is correct. His middle name is Andre. That is correct. July is correct.
Up to 17.5 a game. Shooting more. Carolina looking more and more polished as this last week's gone along.
R.J. Davis with the ball in his hands more. Maybe less with Elliot Cadeau with the ball in his hands. It's always felt early on when you have a guy, you're playing a small lineup and you have a guy that struggles to shoot it. You're playing 5-on-4 half the time, 4-on-5 half the time. That's tough. Carolina started to figure out how to work with a smaller lineup.
Cam Hildreth with a muscular drive and finish. Wake Forest is back in the lead. Hunter Salas 0 for 2 from the field. Efton Reed has just come back. He had 2 early fouls, played 2.5 minutes, and yet Wake is still in front. He'll double Middlebrooks, and Spillers knocks it away.
Some of these guys get doubled, and they know it's coming, but they still turn away and try to get rid of it too quickly. If you welcome the double and pass out of it, you give your team an advantage by welcoming 2 guys to come your way.
Pass into Middlebrooks. Couldn't finish. The foul that'll go against Salas, his first. Another big ACC game following us over on the ACC network. SMU in the first 4 out. According to Joe Lunardi, they are still without a quad 1 win. They've got a great chance to take down a quad 1 opponent in Clemson, ranked 18th. And then Virginia Tech, Miami after that. ACC network and streaming live on the ESPN app.
I felt like SMU was, and you know, I got to call a bunch of SMU games over the last few years when they were in the American, but I feel like they're a good ACC team. Like just something about the institution, the potential in both football and basketball, it's there. I think that's a program you're going to see get into national relevance over the next few years.
Well, we've seen the former already winning the ACC football regular season championship. And again, a lot of good metrics, no bad loss, don't have a quad 1 win. They could get one today. They put themselves in great position. Here's Spillers for 3, rebound to Hill.
They also have competitive finances.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Well located for that sort of thing. Styles off the front of the rim and good.
NC State has done well operating in the half court, but when they're deliberate and attack quickly before the defense gets set, they get good looks. Miss or make doesn't really matter. The goal of offense is to get good, high-quality shots.
Hildreth. Tyler Johnson, who does not have a statistic in 10 minutes. He's got a 10 trillion right now. There's a foul away from the ball. It's on passes first.
It was good stuff because it was deliberate, right? You get a defense hugged up on you. There's a spot in the paint and a driving lane you can attack. Worst case scenario, someone picks you up and you move the basketball. Best case scenario, you get a one-on-one situation and you score.
Johnson, Hildreth for 3. That's offline. Neither of these teams are great three-point shooting teams on the year. Wake is 1 for 4 today. NC State 3 for 11. Styles, they get 4 for 12. Dontrez with a dozen, and NC State with a little 7-0 spurt.
Yeah, kind of a secondary quick hitter, not really a fast break point, but they flow right into it. The ball moves a couple times. You get a good look, take it. Those quick hitters have been good for NC State.
Hildreth switched on to Middlebrooks. Hill comes over to double. Hildreth's in trouble. Tried to throw it off Hill. The ball stays in bounds. A cutting Reed somehow powers it through despite the foul.
Draw up that play for me, right? Like, coaches work so hard to figure out how to help your guys score. This thing was just broken from the start. Hildreth kind of banging down low, throws it off the defender, gets it back, and Efton Reed cuts, gets half blocked, lays it in, and fouled. It's just the way the game is. You could spend hours every week scouting and preparing your team, and then you go play the game. Didn't exactly work as planned, but it worked.
Three-point play for the 7-foot senior, Efton Reed.
I would also argue that broken plays are the hardest to defend because then it's just scramble ball. Right? Relying on communication. Football, same thing, happens a lot.
Wake throws a little zone out here, which was very, very effective against SMU.
Got to ball fake zones. Like, it's the simple fundamental things. Like, the simple ball fakes will open up a driving lane. You drive against the zone, it breaks down the zone's principles. They have the tough decision of saying, all right, who's going to stop the ball? Do we stop it before it gets in the paint, or do we stop it when it gets to the rim? Quite oftentimes, two guys go to the basketball, and now the defense is chasing the play. Use ball fakes to be able to get where you want against the zone. Don't just move it too quickly.
Kevin Keats gets Paul McNeil back and another shooter against this zone. Styles, well, they had an open look in the corner, but O'Connell commits a rare third turnover for him. He thought it was deflected. Ted Valentine did not. He's been pointing to the right side of the court emphatically the last 25 seconds. Does Ted Valentine do anything not emphatically?
Oh, he comes over here and gets his water bottle with intensity.
Johnson on a drive. His first shot of the game is good.
There's your statistic.
Here it is.
By the way, I was fine with him not having a statistic because no turnovers.
That's right.
He's moving the game, moving the ball. It's all good. Good start.
Pass for Middlebrooks. McConnell pass McNeil. Styles, who's got 12 in Middlebrooks. Here's Paul McNeil. Too deep on the three. Batted up in the air and saved by Styles. Johnson scrambling at the point in that zone. They leave Styles off a fake. He misses another. Middlebrooks, second chance opportunity left short. And then just a collision between McNeil and Middlebrooks in the ball, and a calamitous ending to an otherwise intriguing possession. NC State by 1. Guys, top 10 teams, bubble teams everywhere you look. We got one of those here, Wake Forest. Last team in the projected field right now, down 1 despite trailing by 11 out of the gate. And they've had 8 players take the floor. All 8 have scored. Hunter Salas, their leading scorer, is 0 for 2. He scored just 3 from the line. They're led by Duke Harris with 7. Meanwhile, Hill and Taylor, NC State's leading 2 scorers on the year, have combined for 2. Marcus Hill came off the bench for just the second time, and Jaden Taylor 6 minutes, no shots, and he's missed much of the half with 2 fouls. Breon Pass with his second foul, and a free throw left short by Cam Hildreth.
That foul is one that's a great teaching moment because McNeil was covering Hildreth on the ball, and he forced a tough drive. It wasn't going to be an easy shot, not a higher percentage shot, but Pass on the dig down, rips at the arms and gives him an opportunity at the free throw line. Now, you got to know situations. They can make a tough shot.
There's a nice soft spot in the zone. McNeil's got 7.
I would say the best defense is not stopping every shot from occurring. It's forcing the toughest shots, or the ones that you want them to take.
Johnson and the Tre'Von Spillers. Hildreth, 83% free throw shooter, just missed 2. And he finds Spillers, who just rushed it.
They got an easy one there, but the fact that Hunter Salas is not touching the ball, I would have issues.
Middlebrooks somehow got out of it. 3 for Styles. 15 and 7, all in a half's work. Tyler Johnson left it short. Reed got tangled up with Middlebrooks. It'll be Ben Middlebrooks' second foul. 1-and-1 coming for Efton Reed.
I like when they were able to kind of get this thing out of the double and then you skip. It's going to lead to a long closeout, but Hildreth knows not a lot of help behind him, so he's sagging a bit. Styles has had a great start.
We are getting a review now for potential hook and hold. Looks like Middlebrooks got tangled elbow to elbow with Reed. That's what the officials are going to discuss.
We just called a foul.
Well, it's been called a foul.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
who wants to announce it?
The left previous play is under review.
Ted Valentine will. Brian O'Connell to his right.
I understand there are certain things we want to get out of the game, but like these dudes are just battling, man. Like, yeah, there's a foul that wasn't called. Then there's this one. Yeah, does he pull him down? Probably. They're just battling. It's just a shove factory down there. It's just a full-on. It's a full-on fight underneath. You could have called 5 fouls. I get it. Look, these guys are asked to call things as the rule book says they are. But it gives no real, I don't know, puts no emphasis on the fact that things happen in the moment that are just going to be physical battles. I hate to see flagrant one in this situation, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, this is the hook and hold, which has been in the game for quite a few years now.
Isaac Haas rule, yeah.
After review, at the 151 mark, we are up in the foul to a flagrant 1. Hook and hold.
I mean, that certainly fits the definition.
No, it does. It does.
So Middlebrooks picks up the foul. It's his second, and it becomes a flagrant, so that'll be free throws for Reed.
Brian O'Connell has to come over here and tell us and then just get yelled at by everybody behind us.
Brian drew the short straw there.
Like,
Ted Valentine's explaining it to Kevin Keats right there.
I get it as it's written. I just don't think the game is played in the black and white. I think the game is played in the nuanced gray area. And you can't just look at a rule and say, does it qualify under the words that we have written under that rule? I don't know. I also hate stoppages in the game.
Well, the chant is ball don't lie behind us, and Reed goes 1 for 2. So ball partly lies. And Wake Forest will have possession down 5:51 to go.
Wake's got to get Hunter Salas involved. Just involved in the action.
Does he need to involve himself more? Is he being too passive?
To a degree, but everything needs to flow through him. It's flowing through everybody else. Him in a ball screen situation, let him operate a little bit. Good things happen.
Out of a double, he feeds Harris. Duke Harris's first miss after a 3-for-3 start. Styles, been a great half for him. Inside Hill, got it to go.
Saying, go back to those quick hitters for NC State. Defense isn't set. That's where they're having their most success.
NC State by 7. Here's Salas, cut off by the freshman McNeil. There has been a lot of good individual defending, and here's some more. Oh, it was for a moment. Then Hill toppled over the legs of Hildreth. That's got to be a foul. And it is, I think. I didn't hear the whistle from Ted Valentine, but I saw the arm in the air.
So here's the thing, though. It's kind of like a half dive for the ball. I think Hildreth did a good job of walking into this one.
It's a little veteran savvy.
It is. Yep.
I don't know if he blew the whistle, because not only did I not hear it, McNeil and Hill, who were standing right next to him or on the floor next to him, were both celebrating. So Hildreth, who just missed 2, will go back to the line. 6th in the ACC in free throw percentage. See Wake hanging in this game partly at the line. NC State has only attempted 2 free throws.
I should say, too, I probably haven't pointed out enough that NC State's coverage on the ball has been good.
Yep.
When Hunter Sallis has had the ball and has had the opportunities to make plays, they've been right up on him, chest to chest, making everything tough, making him pass the ball back out. But if you're a high-level player like Sallis is, you got to figure out how to get the ball, move it, and get it back. You're too important not to be involved.
Hildreth with 6. Sallis at the front of his 1-3-1 zone now. Under a minute first half. NC State's led nearly the whole way. After the first time these teams met, Wake led nearly the whole first half. Off the deflection, O'Connell. 3 to shoot. Styles, fake. O'Connell, desperation 3 is rebounded by Ballou. Kept that pivot foot just glued enough to the ground. Hildreth driving. Shot fake on the freshman Ishmael Doof, who just checked off the bench, and a pure finish. And if Wake can get to the half down just 3, they'll feel a lot better about themselves. Game they trailed by 11 early and 7 recently.
If you can get to the half down 3 with Hunter Sallis only having 3 points and limited attempts from the field, you're doing all right, especially considering the hot start from NC State.
O'Connell back for Hill. Almost never shoots from 3, and he hits it! Just his 8th of the year! Boy, what an unusual bookend to the halves. Marcus Hill, who takes 88%.
Hunter Sallis involved and try to slow down the attack offensively of NC State, who seems to have it rolling.
And if you're looking at those numbers, you think, I probably had foul trouble. He played every minute, every second of the first half. It took just 2 field goal attempts, 4 free throws. So the good news for Wake, despite that, they're only down 6. Cam Hildreth, who had 8, lead the way. Big jump stop in the lane. Whoa! Slams on the brakes and rolls it home, and he leads away with 10.
It's like at camp over the summer when you're teaching a first grader how to do a jump stop. You exaggerate everything to teach. That's exactly what he did, but it was well done.
Michael O'Connell will be called for a travel, so his 4th turnover. That never happens.
Maybe if he just came to this kind of jump stop.
Ah!
Covering a lot of ground. It's like a Euro step.
It's like a full multi-continent step, a Eurasia step. Sallis is
Come on.
Come on, what?
You're proud of yourself for that.
I'm proud of myself. I'm just trying to give the folks at home a more appropriate visual than Euro step. We say Euro step all the time. That was more than a Euro step. Jaden Taylor just picked up his 3rd.
Eurasian step. Oh, man. Help us.
Only 19-13 to go. So here is Sallis out for Reed, who picked up 2 early fouls and was limited in that half. Wake Forest got a lot of scoring off its bench. They typically don't get many minutes off the bench. There's Sallis.
Love it. He got it back, Kevin. That's the thing. He tried to make something happen. He didn't have it. He gave it up. He got it back. You vacate that corner. It's an ISO situation. Really easy to get the mid-range game going in an ISO situation.
To state the absolute obvious, this feels like a dangerous couple of moments here for NC State. The crowd energy still not back in after halftime. 6-point lead down to 2. And Paul McNeil has been making things happen tonight. Draws a foul. First career start for the freshman. That's Sallis' 2nd foul. And McNeil will shoot 2.
Some guys do well because they're purposeful in their aggression, right? They're purposeful about creating an opportunity. And it's not just a score. It's just create an opportunity, draw defense, get to an area where the defense has to rotate like the paint. McNeil's been confident and aggressive throughout. I think that's great. When you get a start, you come out here and play fearless basketball.
And this is a kid who scored 71 in a high school game, which broke a North Carolina record that had stood since 1950. Averaged 32 a game at Richmond Senior High. He was ranked 46th overall in this recruiting class. His minutes have just been very spotty, just 6 minutes a game. But Kevin Keats looking for an answer after Paul McNeil played really well, largely in non-competitive situations, but still against North Carolina, 14-14. He deserved a chance, and he's made the most of it.
It matters and it doesn't, whether it's an important situation or not. Sometimes you just got to get a feel for how to play the game.
Reed trying to find a cutting Spillers, and eventually did. Off the deflection, Middlebrooks and O'Connell race back into position.
What's your high school career high?
Same as it was every game. Yeah, that was very consistent. Reed for three. Around and out. And there's Salas on the offensive glass. Did you get 71 in a game, Pittman?
No, I had 62.
62.
I blew it.
What was your brother Joe's high school career high?
56.
Okay.
But he had to play with me. Look at this. That is all but down. That's like 75% down.
That only seems to be happening on this rim.
Yeah, right.
Hildreth again. Left it short rebound. Stiles, who's got 15 and 9.
Struggle with that being your best offense. Kind of bully ball down low with a perceivably smaller guard. It doesn't create rhythm. It doesn't get any sort of movement. Doesn't allow you to feel what the defense is doing.
McNeil contested two. And Paul McNeil's into double figures for the second straight game.
The point I make is, look, he's clearly a scorer. You just don't score 70-plus points in a game. I don't care who you're playing against, unless you can put the ball in the basket. But you've got to learn how to be effective at this level. And sometimes it takes time. When you got length and you can create just enough space, I mean, this is really good stuff. Deals with the physicality, gets the space he needs, elevates. He's got a nice game. Again, you just have to learn how to level up to the major Division I level. It's a different game.
Salas hits the first of two, 79% free throw shooter. So that's 3 on Middlebrooks. He and Taylor each playing with 3 early in the half. And Salas sticks them both. Under Salas looking to get into double figures for what would be his 16th consecutive game. He scored 20 or more in 10 of the last 15. A lot of time left for him to heat up.
Salas needs to be the first, third, and fifth option. And that means if you don't have it, it comes back to him in some way, shape, or form.
Stiles misses a rainbow. McNeil's in there for the offensive rebound. And it's a drive for Taylor, a handoff for Middlebrooks. He's fouled. Tonight on ABC and ESPN Plus, our NBA Saturday primetime game. LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and the Lakers against the great Nikola Jokic, 37-19 Nuggets. NBA countdown starts at all at 8 Eastern, and the game to follow a half hour later.
Who's the best all-around player on the floor in that game?
Wow, it's got to be Jokic.
I'm going Jokic, 100%.
No question. Now LeBron is coming off of 40 at 40 in the win against the Blazers.
That is remarkable.
I think Nikola Jokic is the best all-around player still in the league.
Yeah.
Fair to say. People are bored of him because he won back-to-back MVPs. He could probably win it every year.
Like, needs to be somebody else. Why? The guy's incredible.
Just watch 5 minutes of Nikola Jokic play basketball and tell me you're not in love with that.
Absolutely manipulates the game. I love it.
Lead back to 6-4 NC State. Johnson's in a very quiet game. Lob into Reed.
Nice.
Quick touch. Efton Reed with 6.
It was a good, simple find from Tyler Johnson, who earlier this season, Steve Forbes didn't think he could play him that much because he just couldn't take care of the basketball. He tried to make the spectacular play all the time. Sometimes the simple one's best.
Taylor steps into a 3. Around and out again. Here's Hildreth, sensing a weakness in the defense. Maybe didn't exactly find what he was looking for. That's going to stay with Wake, according to Jamel Spearman. Brandon Huntley, Hatfield, Marcus Hill are going to check back in. And Middlebrooks and Taylor, the 2 men with 3 fouls, will get a breather.
NC State started the game pretty hot, and then the second group came in and lost it. And right off the bat, you come into the game, if you don't communicate, you're going to get beat. Right? I always look at the next group that comes in. Are you paying attention on the bench? Are you in the game while you're on the bench? If not, you're going to give that up.
Yeah. Wide open look for Salas, who's got 6 here in the opening 4 minutes of the half.
And in an out of bounds underneath, if you give up an easy look, it's not good offense, it's bad defense. I don't care what anybody says.
McNeil wants to shoot it again. Bobs away! I don't think he'll just get 6 minutes a game the rest of the year.
No.
14 points, he's tied a season high, which he set not 72 hours ago. Hildreth fouled on a wild drive. You will always remember this, NC State fans, as the day you were truly introduced to Paul McNeil Jr.
He's got it in the bag right now, and he's playing with a conviction that you need. If you're NC State, you need that confidence.
LSU, Kentucky to follow there. Okay. Hear from Isaiah James, NC State's leading scorer, live on game day tomorrow. Tremendous day of women's college hoops. Could be a very consequential weekend for the basketball programs here in Raleigh. NC State, which is the men's side, is trying to make it to the ACC tournament. Top 15 teams make it. It's now an 18-team league. They're 2 wins back. They're 1 back of Syracuse in the loss column. They do go to the Dome Wednesday. So win this game, they'll be in position to get back into the top 15 Wednesday. Styles tripped up. No foul. O'Connell, who's got 5 assists, but shockingly 4 turnovers with the ball. And he's double teamed by the hedging Reed. Finds an outlet. No good on the 3 for Dontrez Styles. Had a big game.
A lot of his misses have looked good, though.
It's either been in or halfway down, seemingly. 7 of 21 from 3. Wake Forest has hit just 1 3-pointer. They're 346th in the country, shooting 29% from deep. Johnson behind his back for Reed. Little floater. It's a 1-point game.
I tell you, if Tyler Johnson could make the simple play like that, he could be so effective. And the more he does that, the more you're going to get open look threes.
O'Connell got it back and got stripped, but there's a foul.
This is good stuff. I mean, just win your battle, right? There's the open spot. Attack the gap, draw 2. Great dunk down, and not an easy finish, by the way. Just because no one's covering you doesn't mean that's an easy make. A little runner from 10 feet from your 7-footer.
So Johnson now with 3 assists, no turnovers in 21 minutes.
And you were all critical earlier. You were dogging him, saying he hasn't recorded a statistic. I took the glass as half full side of that equation and said, well, he has no turnovers. That's a guy that's growing up a little bit and finding patience within the game.
I know it's not
like you're over here saying,
I simply said,
where are his stats?
I simply said he's played 10 minutes without a statistic.
And I would say it's
you
actually,
interpreted that incorrectly.
I would actually say that's good because he's showing poise at a time when you look back earlier in the season, he couldn't play because of the lack of poise. And now he's actually being patient, learning how to play, and figuring out the way the game's going to be played, finding a rhythm. Still think Hunter Salas needs to be heavily involved. Maybe moving more without the basketball, not just hovering around the half-court area.
He's been in hover mode most of this possession. 10 to shoot it. Inside to Reed from Hildreth. 1 dribble. And couldn't score with Huntley Hatfield on his back. Styles from O'Connell. Steps inside. Salas knocked it away. Salas gets on the floor and saves it. Down the floor, Hildreth from Harris. Spillers. There's a foul somewhere. It's on Huntley Hatfield, NC State's 4th of the half.
I also think Wake's had a tough time creating something off the bounce because they've really looked to go inside. They have the obvious advantage down low, but sometimes you actually disrupt your own rhythm by putting someone on the block and taking driving lanes away. Hunter Salas really hasn't had anywhere to go.
Into the block again, Reed. Pushed by Huntley Hatfield, who picks up back-to-back fouls. His first two, and Reed can tie it at the line.
I want to tell defenders, if you're not going to play your defense early and win the position battle, just force a tough shot. I'm okay with Efton Reed going right shoulder left hook from about 8 to 10 feet. Just wall up and get ready to rebound.
70% foul shooter. Reed has averaged better than 10 and 8 in the last 6. He had 19 points, shot 8 for 9. And a win at Cal 2 weeks ago. Huntley Hatfield takes a seat. Middlebrooks replaces him.
Last time I had Wake was against Duke at Wake, and Efton Reed worked, man. He really worked. Had to cover a variety of positions, had to be a communicator. They fought back in the second half, and I thought he was a big piece of that.
5 of the last 7, he's played 37 minutes or more. 7 feet, 250.
Yeah.
And Steve Forbes told us we can hedge ball screens now because I believe in Efton Reed's ability to hedge a ball screen. Parker, a three for Dennis Parker Jr. Only his 7th of the year. And then Wake nearly throws it away down the floor. And in fact, they end up throwing it away.
I think
Spillers thought it was off of Parker. I think he was right.
I don't think there was any question there.
Let's see if Jamel Spearman has a reversal is called. Ted Valentine's talking to him, and they will reverse the call.
Good job. And the good thing is there, like Ted Valentine came in and pointed, but they communicated and said, what did you see? That's the right way to do it. It's okay to be wrong, right?
Well, if somebody says you're wrong and you believe them, change the call. No problem with that. Harris, throw it away. Parker, no, it was in and out. Got it back and he's fouled. Dennis Parker Jr., their only sophomore with a couple of active possessions. You can't believe he missed the first one, but he will shoot 2.
Just if we're playing the energy game, which, you know, it sort of matters. I think it matters pretty significantly. NC State's winning the energy battle. You see their benches getting up. They're getting excited for one another. Parker just keeping it alive, playing again. Good energy, high motor, keep it rolling. That was like one of the worst misses. There's one way to, like, you know, you kind of hit the back of the rim. When you hit the bottom front of the rim right now, let's see if he's going to adjust to the back of the rim or not. And look at him. That's a good team. There he goes. All right, have a little better. Oh, man. When your own teammates are cheesing over it. And they made that sound, too. Dong. That's all right. I'll give you love for the second one.
All's well that ends sort of well.
I'm telling you, NC State, just keep your energy high. Communicate, talk, be loud.
Hill almost took it away. Salas down the lane.
What a technical foul. What do you want him to do, fall on his back?
He's into double figures. He's got 11, 8 of those since the break. Marcus Hill looking to stop that. A lot of dribbling and a foul against Hildreth. Wake Forest's 5th, Hildreth's 2nd.
That's where you got to be careful if you're NC State. Look, you got a unique lineup on the floor right now. Your primary scorers are not in. You're trying to get to this under 12. Don't turn it over and don't put yourself in a bad spot.
Trey Parker, Dennis Parker Jr., Taylor, Middlebrooks, Hill. Here's Parker Jr. for 3. And the foul will go against Harris.
Hunter Salas, right? Broken play. He's got a really quiet 11. I think the steal's going the other way, and Hunter Salas gets all the way to the rim. No one stops the ball. That was a proper swing, right? I don't think there's any technical foul. Good to get Hunter Salas going. Got to involve him in the offense more.
All right, guys. 11:51 to go here in this second half. A 2-point lead for NC State. Tre'Von Spillers just got called for a foul. And Wake Forest has committed 7. Actually, it's going to be against Reed, his 3rd, beg your pardon. So 3 on Reed, but the 2 very early. Steve Forbes with a baby trying not to distract him behind him.
Safe to say it's been a weird game.
It has
right?
been a weird game.
It's been hard to find what the rhythm is of this game. And I think that actually favors NC State, who's the team that's been able to kind of put little runs together.
Salas, 8 of his 11 in the second half. Inside Hill, easily blocked by Middlebrooks. Wake Forest has hit just 1 and attempted just 4 threes.
I just think if you're NC State, with this lineup on the floor, you've got to figure out where the offense is going to come from.
Hildreth, boy, another easy basket off an under the basket play. Kevin Keats frustratedly walking to the middle of the bench. Wake is tied it again at 54.
Have your back to the ball. There needs to be crazy ball pressure with someone really tall on the basketball to negate that pass. Just concerned for this group offensively.
Jaden Taylor got it. First points. I mean, the worry about a game like this for NC State, and their fans have seen it time and again this year. They have competed so hard. They've had the lead in most ACC games in the second half, and they have just had trouble executing in the final 10, the final 5 minutes of games. Spillers with a 3. Wake Forest is back in front. Just their second 3 of the game. Here's what we're talking about. Second half lead in 13 of 16 ACC games and 9 of their 12 losses. Hill, long 2, clank. So NC State has been competitive almost every game, but they've lost so many close games. Hildreth into Spillers. This is the first time today Wake has led by more than a point.
Again, I go back to, I just think it's a tough lineup. It's a very small lineup for NC State. They're just getting bullied down low.
Bottom 3 teams miss the ACC tournament. Over on ACC Network right now, as NC State turns it over. BC is up a dozen on Georgia Tech at the under-8s. That'll be their 4th win. NC State's going to need at least 5 wins, maybe 6. They're on the road 3 of their next 4, though it's not a daunting stretch. At Syracuse, at Georgia Tech, Pitt, and then at Miami. But they've got to win this game. They cannot go into that stretch 2 wins behind 15th place and feel good about their chances. They led by 11. They're now down by 3 as Reed misses the little hook.
See, that was good defense. Oh, I don't want to say allow the shot, but allow a tough shot to go up and be in position to get the rebound.
O'Connell and McNeil have returned to the game with Taylor, Middlebrooks, and Dennis Parker Jr. just picked up his 3rd. Taylor driving, no. Spillers was in there to defend with Salas. And here's a pull-up 3, and it's no good. Wake Forest still just 2 for 6 as Salas misfired.
I just feel like Salas takes that shot because he's just not as involved offensively. So you feel like you have to manufacture your shot opportunities.
Parker turns it down. He won't turn this down. Swirl it out. And then McNeil just overplaying there as Harris draws the foul. 7th on NC State. 1-and-1 coming for Juke Harris.
It's good. You're getting Styles back into the game. If it's for the last 9 minutes, if you're Kevin Keats, you need your best players on the floor. Like, I think that's kind of led to some inconsistency, and I saw that in prep, right? You watch, and there's certain groups that you go, I see it. But there's a significant drop-off when you bring 2 or 3 guys in off the bench. That's a problem. I think the energy's been good. The bench has been good in terms of their positivity. But on the floor, it's a different game.
Harris misses the front end of the 101.
See if this group can score it a little bit better. Because that's what we've seen throughout the course of this game. When they score, they get their defense set. They've been good. Wake hasn't had 3 opportunities. They've really had to operate to get good looks.
Here's Styles, who's not scored in the second half. He had 15 and 8 in the first half, points and rebounds. He's got 0 and 1 here in the second. One to shoot it. McNeil. And then Salas fouled by Styles. Again, bad position by Styles. Smart play by Salas, leading into it. He knew what he was doing. He gets a 1-and-1.
It's a smart play, but it can also be annoying, right? Like it's definitely a smart play, a little stop and barely bumped. I mean, I think he sold it a bit. It's both smart and annoying at the same time. Nuance like that, Kev. Both can be true.
The game exists in the gray, as life exists in the gray.
Absolutely annoying that that's a foul, but it's a smart play.
So Hunter Salas, after 3 points in the first half, has 10 here in the second. He's up to 13.
The quietest 13 Hunter Salas could have. Outside of the dunk, like what shots do you remember?
Remember the one where he wasn't guarded on the out of bounds? I'm sure Kevin Keys remembers that one too, but I don't even remember the other one. And yet Wake Forest is up by 5. They trailed 11-0. O'Connell lets it fly. Maybe that'll get some life back into these Wolfpack.
Both teams, when they can get 2 defenders to commit to the basketball, the pass out of it creates a shot opportunity.
Second three for O'Connell, just 29% on the year. Hildreth from Reed. No, and O'Connell's got the rebound. Seven and a half to go. Taylor, quiet night. Loud shot. It's a 3.
He got the switch, and he wanted the ball back, and Efton Reed just had to sag. Got a good look.
6 straight just like that. Offensive foul. It's the 4th on Reed. Middlebrooks draws it. And the Wolfpack in about 40 seconds totally changed the game.
That's good stuff. Again, 2 guys on the basketball. You pass out of it. You get a good look. Get the switch. You know the defender's got a sag. You use the dribble.
ACC. Wake Forest, since the conference opener, when BC hit 40%, no team has hit more than a third of its threes since in the last 15 games against Wake. And here comes NC State, which never hits threes. And they can't miss now. That's 11. They've tied a season high. And the freshman, Paul McNeil, has a new season high 17.
If you're Kevin Keats, you got to stick with this lineup for the duration. Go win this game. I think it's the best offense you've got. Defensively, they've been solid. Now you got a smaller lineup for Wake.
Spillers, Omaha Malou. Reads off the floor with 4 fouls. Salas, good contest by O'Connell. O'Connell, Middlebrooks, Taylor, Styles, and the star in the making, Paul McNeil Jr., who's either at or set a season-high points, minutes, rebounds, and assists. The freshman from Rockingham. Taylor bricks a 3.
That's not the one.
Wake, meanwhile, is just 2 for 7 from D. They also struggle to shoot it. Oh, boy.
Yeah, clear out.
Offensive foul on Hildreth. Ted Valentine's had quite a few offensive fouls in this game, and Hildreth's hit with his 3rd overall.
I know Middlebrooks acted a bit on the last one, but he is absorbing a lot of contact. I do think when you're playing bully ball, you have to be careful with the dislodging. A little zone from Wake.
Probably not a team they expected to need much zone against, and they get a takeaway. Here's Salas driving. Boy, it's just not been in his game. He lost it on the way up off his knee.
It hasn't been his game, and yeah, he just lost it, but at the same time, credit NC State for getting back in the action. They got back, and they just threw bodies up at the basketball to contest, and Hunter Salas just lost the basketball because of the attention that came on him.
It's a 9-0 NC State run on 3 threes. Taylor cut. Middlebrooks gets it to Styles instead. Dontrez, Styles, first points of the half.
Tell you, the mid-range game is there, particularly against the zone. A couple dribbles, defense doesn't fully commit on the help side. That mid-range is going to be there.
Hildreth wouldn't go, and it's off at Ballou. This NC State crowd, which has not had much to cheer about this year, appreciating these moments, this 11-0 Wolfpack run.
Still think Salas has to be heavily involved in everything you do offensively, whether he's making the play or just dragging defenders with him.
Here's Styles. What a tough shot. Timeout, Wake Forest. It's slipping away from him now. NC State is taking the game away.
Except for the last two baskets. This group right here.
I know there's a month to go, but this would be a quadrant 3 loss. It would be a very, very damaging loss to Wake Forest's resume. NC State is 133 in the net, whether they're playing like it or not. Spillers in the post over Styles. He's fouled, and he will shoot 2. More great college basketball coming up. The Wake Forest fans will be rooting for Auburn and Missouri against some SEC bubble teams. Georgia goes to face the nation's #1 after this on ESPN. Sonic blockbuster Kentucky, Alabama, and then Missouri, Arkansas, back-to-back on ESPN and the ESPN app.
If there's any bubble team I feel badly for, it's a bubble team in the SEC, right? Like, what a brutal conference. And we talk about top to bottom strength. It's really, to me, bottom to top. How difficult is it to beat your basement teams? That makes the conference brutal.
One of those bubble teams got a big win today. Oklahoma beat Mississippi State at home. Snapped a losing streak for them. NC State, remember, trying to get into the ACC tournament. Wow, O'Connell! A slippery bouncer for the Middlebrooks dunk.
That's the problem. If you're going to hedge, you have to be there. If you're Efton Reed, O'Connell was able to drag both defenders out so far that he was able to make that pass with a one-handed bouncer.
And a 10-assist game for O'Connell. Efton Reed for 3. I mean, that's not even close to the top of the Wake Forest playbook. He's a 6 for 25 on the year from out there.
Now that's a last minute of the game shot. There's still plenty of time to get back into this. Only down 8. Starts with a stop.
Middlebrooks. And Styles calling for it the whole way. Got it! Hildreth, no. Reed out for Harris. Driving into his own teammates. Oh, what a mess this is for Wake. What a party this is for State.
Just out of sorts offensively, and the best player on the floor, Hunter Salas, doesn't touch it.
It's an 18-2 Wolfpack run. Styles. And Wake Forest, which is just 2 threes in the game, needs instant offense.
Styles has to just feel that out and continue to work Efton Reed to the middle of the court.
Just got it with his 4th foul. Everything else has been going brilliantly, though.
Yeah, look, good energy, right? You pass out of the double team, makes the extra, in rhythm, high percentage 3, which not always the case with NC State tonight. They're knocking down open looks.
Played 12 threes, a season high. Paul McNeil, he's got 3 of them in a season high 17. And Wake Forest is in a world of trouble now. They are the last team in the projected field, according to Joe Lenardi at this very moment. Oklahoma's already won. Game against Mississippi State that will go down as a quad 1 victory. And Wake Forest trying to avoid a quad 3 loss. Reed goes 2 for 2. Last time NC State hit this many threes in a game, you got to go back to December 12th, 2023, as they get a timeout. That was against UT Martin.
Just look at it. McNeil 17, Styles 22, O'Connell with 11 assists. Just much better balance on the floor. He's been a tough shot taker, tough shot maker. Got to stick with and make everybody level up to play on their level.
Yeah, they have made a sub since Styles at the 9-minute mark, and then it was the 10-11 before that. They almost turned it over.
Bad spot to inbound, so.
So still got to get it across in 5 seconds. O'Connell's making sure his teammates know that.
Middlebrooks may have to come back and be an outlet.
Tough place for Styles to inbound it near the Wake bench. Oh boy, Taylor's in trouble, and he's tied up. NC State still has the arrow. That'll change right now, and now they got to get it across in the next 3 seconds.
We should get it on the sideline. I would rather send someone out and just eliminate some of the congestion. Send somebody long. And you got to say, guys, your job is to get open. Send somebody long, get rid of some of the congestion, get open and look to throw ahead.
Styles to inbound it, guarded by Spillers. O'Connell throws it long to McNeil, but they didn't get possession in time.
Oh, wow, that was close.
So it is a 10-second violation. McNeil didn't have possession of the ball before the 10 seconds expired.
Let's see. I mean, it's about possessing the basketball, and there it is. Oh, it's so close.
So 9-point game. Remember, Wake Forest has hit just 2 threes. They haven't hit a field goal since the 10-19 mark. Salas blocked by Styles. Wow. Salas was thinking another highlight reel dunk, and then Styles stuffed it. And that's it for Reed. He just found out of the game.
This play at the rim was awesome. Straight up. And I like the attack from Hunter Salas. But a great contest. And that's where the wall up has been such a good thing for this game. More plays at the rim. Then we fixed the block charge, where they basically made it nearly impossible to take a charge for a play coming at the rim. And I'm glad they did. We have more plays like that. A tough one for Efton Reed, man. He's tired. And when you're tired and you have to hedge, you do things like grab. It's natural. You get tired, you got a hard hedge. Middlebrooks goes to slips, he just grabs them. I get why. You're tired. When you're tired, you lose discipline.
Middlebrooks 2 for 2. Styles, by the way, now has 2 double-doubles on the year, both against Wake. And the lead is 11, closing in on 2 to play. Tyler Johnson back in there for Reed. Wake will go smaller. Harris fouled by Styles, who has just fouled out of this game as well. That's his 5th with 2:01 to go.
I thought he played great defense. I like the attack from Harris. I think Harris brings you a lot. He hasn't been able to do much in this game.
Sorry, John, it's actually on Taylor here. On the reach-in right there from behind. It didn't look like Taylor got much, but it's the 4th on Taylor, so Styles does stay on the floor.
I don't know if Taylor got him at all.
I don't know if he did either. Wake Forest has not hit a field goal in the last 8 minutes and 18 seconds.
But NC State's defense has been really good. I've gotten hit by somebody.
Well, they get a chicken sandwich if he misses this. For Chick-fil-A, he missed it. Now, they Wake got it back. Harris scored, but who cares? They still get a chicken sandwich.
That should negate the Chick-fil-A. We should have to secure the rebound. We're going to add to that.
NC State only has 1 timeout. They barely get it in, and almost they do turn it over with 1:45 to go. And it'll be reviewed because everything has to be in the final 2 minutes. It's not a rule, but it's basically a rule.
Following plays under review.
All right, a 9-point game. The call on the court is Wake Forest basketball.
It's important that Styles didn't pick up his 5th foul on that play. You know, he's been really good for them. Got him in this game in the first half. This team came out hot. Like I said, it's been hard for them to maintain with the different groups.
Did Spillers get in before McNeil did?
We need to see like 15 other angles. This one might tell us. Yeah, that's off of Spillers.
Knocks it out of bounds.
It's off of Spillers. Hopefully you can be quick about it, right?
I agree. As John Wooden might have said if he had reviews of the game, be quick and be in a hurry.
Yeah.
So minute 45 to go.
They didn't have reviews back then. Can you imagine watching 20p reviews?
This would, by the way, technically be a quad 2 game. NC State is 133 in the net. A quad 2 game on the road is up to 135. Whatever, it still would be a damaging feat. Now, hang on. Are they going to say that McNeil touched it at the end in there?
I swear, like half the time, I don't know what I'm watching. And I think it's really easy in slow-mo to convince yourself one way or the other, or convince yourself that it's too much to overturn the call. Like, I was watching a game the other night and watched a review, and I was like, you know, I was Iowa. Iowa was playing somebody. There was like a couple tough reviews. And it is so easy to convince yourself either way, depending on what your rooting interest is. I thought this was clearly off of Spillers. It's right there. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's just too hard to overturn.
I don't know either.
Now we're probably looking at time. Like, in my mind, that felt obvious, but I think it's easy to convince yourself that the other player may have touched it, so it's hard to overturn.
So 9-point game. Off the quick takeaway, here's Johnson leading in for another tough 2. Spillers pulls it down. There's a foul, so he'll shoot 2 with a minute 38. And that's the 4th on Ben Middlebrooks.
This is where any sort of flow comes to like a grinding halt. For the last couple minutes, we're going to have 3 reviews, a lot of fouls.
Middlebrooks, Taylor, and Styles all have 4.
This is something you got to learn how to play. If you're NC State, you lost a lot of close games. You got to learn how to play without fouling. You have to learn how to contest, and then you have to learn how to get the ball in bounds when you're playing against the press. That's been the issue the last few possessions.
Spillers, 66% shooter, hits 2, leads down to 7. 98 seconds to go. Spillers will let the ball bounce away. Wake will set up the press. O'Connell can run. NC State only has 1 timeout. They get it in the corner again. Man, oh man, they are throwing it into dangerous spots. It's knocked out of bounds. Is this going to be reviewed too?
Anybody twirling their hands needs to stop doing it.
Ted Valentine is going to review it again.
Go. This is where, like, I think it's safe to say, this is where it just gets dumb, these reviews.
Previous play under review.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it was close. But I feel like we just do this. We give free timeouts. Let's see. I mean, right?
It's close, but it seems to me like it's off
Wake.
Harris. But then again, so did the last one. We got that
You're
wrong.
not. Let's just put it this way: you're not overturning it.
No way.
I would love it if the officials came over and said, "Yeah, it was close, but we're not going to overturn that because Harris hit it out."
Harris is pointing Wake Forest to
Of course, that's
he's
what you
trying,
do.
but it's not close.
You
Doesn't
maul a
work
guy and you
that way.
complain that the foul got called. I mean, you always fight the call.
So 7-point game. We think it's going to be NC State ball. NC State 10 of 13 at the line. Can they hit their free throws and can they not turn it over? Right now it's mainly about the latter, and they will have possession here. 29 to shoot, minute 37 on the clock, so all that's sorted out. Both teams are in the double bonus. And this will be another tough inbound without the ability to run.
Yeah, they have really struggled to get the ball in bounds.
Spillers did a nice job on the ball as well. He's hopping like a madman on a pogo stick. And Taylor almost traveled with it. O'Connell, touch pass McNeil. There you go. NC State breaks the pressure. Are they going to start fouling now, Wake Forest? They look like they want to. Now Salas will pull off. NC State's not a great free throw shooting team.
Now the basket here feels like it's over.
Yep. O'Connell. Here's McNeil. Step back. Bang! Oh! I mean, it had to end this way, didn't it?
Don't foul. Goodness.
Middlebrooks is out of the game, which will give us more chance to appreciate the unstoppable Paul McNeil machine.
I mean, we said it. A basket here all but ends it not fouling early. And McNeil he's just been terrific today, whatever time of day it is. He's been great.
It was today. It's getting closer and closer to tonight.
I mean, between Styles and McNeil, and then just the consistent play and feel and ball movement of O'Connell, they've got something there.
Every time Paul McNeil shoots, I don't think he's going to miss. And he typically doesn't. And O'Connell is just tied at career high with 12 assists because his teammates can't stop missing threes.
I was going to say, I mean, they're making shots, and I think they were able to get them early enough to kind of build a little something. But you've got to be able to play down the stretch without fouling.
So Hildreth hits the first. Marcus Hill back in the game for NC State. Paul McNeil, first 16 games of the year, had 28 points combined. In the last 4, he has 48 points. Hildreth 2 for 2, 3-possession game. Wake Forest still has hit just 1 field goal in the last 9.5 minutes or so.
They've struggled to get the ball in bounds, though.
Another tough spot and another foul.
I would almost wait to foul there because that trap is so tough to pass out of. The problem is if you're able to pass out of that trap, it's hard to foul the next pass. And it's easy to advance the ball, and next thing you know, it takes 20 seconds till you get back and foul somebody.
So McNeil to the line, where he's 2 for 2 today and 13 for 18 in this freshman year.
I mean this in the best way possible, but it's almost like the worst thing for Kevin Keats is everyone now going, why wasn't he playing more? What's wrong with you? It's like, so you want him to do well, but not too well. I think they'll take this performance. You get my point.
Scattered MVP chance behind us. McNeil has 22 points.
Bring somebody up. Bring somebody up. Make him pick a ball.
Johnson drives it. No foul. Spillers. And another foul.
Good Lord. I think there was a foul there. There's a lot of people asking.
Maybe we can apply the purge to basketball and say each team gets to pick 1 possession in the final minute where you can't have a whistle blow until the possession's over. I don't know who this was. It's Styles. It's his 5th. He's done 2.
At this point, up 10, 51 seconds shouldn't be a killer. But again, I go back to the fact that you've struggled to get the ball in bounds.
So Breon Pass, who has barely played in the second half, will come in. Styles leads to a hero's welcome. 22 points, just 2 shy of a season high. 10 rebounds, his second double-double of the year, and he was awesome in this game, particularly in the first half. But that block on the Salas dunk was as important a contribution as any.
Better than the 22 and 10.
As any individual play, I think, don't you think?
Sure. Yeah.
So Spillers for 2 more. Remember, Wake Forest Last team in the field, as we've said, for Gilinardi. Their metrics aren't great. 60 in the net. 2-6 in quad one. This would be their first loss in quad two, where they're 5-0. But it would be at the very, very back end of quad two, so they'd probably drop a few spots in the net. And their next four: Virginia, Notre Dame, at Duke, and then Georgia Tech. Now, all games besides Duke they'll be expected to win, none of which will be resume builders, except for the game at Duke, which is a Monday night game, Big Monday, March 3rd on ESPN. They pull that one off, well, then forget about this, but they'll be heavy underdogs, and they'll probably need to, with this loss, probably need to do some work in a conference tournament in a couple of weeks. Not that Steve Forbes is thinking about anything like that, but just putting the reality of the situation into perspective. This is going to be a tough one for Wake Forest to live down.
For Kevin Keats, you got to be telling your guys, hey, contest, don't foul. Get somebody up on the ball, don't let them roll it up. You got to get that clock started.
NC State's got 14 from 17 at the line as Hill hits two. Wake Forest is not hitting shots from the field. Knocked away from Spillers. It'll be Wake ball.
We're going to review it. We're going to review it.
No, just don't do it.
Yep.
I know you kind of have to, but all right. Another stoppage.
I feel like
Wake
it
Forest
becomes
and NC
a crutch.
State take their 18th combined timeout in the final minute.
I think the review becomes a crutch for officials. I get it. You got to get it right. But Lord Almighty, the end of games is brutal. We'll take another look at it. They're looking at it. We might. I mean, I would say off of Spillers.
And the call was off of O'Connell, but that's off Spillers. That should be reversed. So, look, we're going to review it. This is a good one to review.
I know, but my point is, if you don't have the review, you've got to get the call right. I think it becomes a crutch where you're like, we're going to review it either way. We'll just make a call and go look at it. But if you got to get it right, different story. Just like basketball when it's fluid. You know that. You've been around there enough.
I have. We'll get you, by the way, down the road shortly enough to Virginia UNC if you're waiting for that game, although UNC is off to another red-hot start, 15-2, 6 minutes in.
If this doesn't go the other way, I don't know what the point of reviews would be. So 43.2,
NC State ball. That should just about do it. It should have been just about done a long time ago, but Michael O'Connell and NC State are going to get a massive, massive win. They need at least one more, possibly two, to get to the ACC tournament. Hey, who knows? If they get to the ACC tournament, who knows how long their stake could be? Nobody's going to be saying this is a Final Four team again, but boy, are they fun today. And McNeil drops the final hammer. He's got 24. And the shot clock is off, and Steve Forbes will call off the Dogs. Boy, in a season just filled to the brim with frustration, with a lack of execution in late games, NC State has been waiting for a day like this. And Paul McNeil Jr., the freshman from right here in the state of North Carolina, has just delivered the biggest thrill of his young career. 24 points for McNeil. One small step for NC State. One giant step for Paul McNeil Jr.